Hello there, my name's Claire and this is Stitch and Sew. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. Today's video is going to be a fabric haul, so if you're interested in that, I'd love it if you would stick around with me today. So before I get started with today's video, I thought I'd just start off by telling you what I'm wearing. This is the Friday Pattern Company Westcliff dress. I've made this out of a viscose jersey. I think this has got a little bit of polyester in, if the truth be told, because I never have to iron it. So I reach for this quite a lot. I have realised through the month of May, with it being me made May, that I reach for this item quite a lot, and I think it is because I don't have to iron it. But it's also really easy to wear. I love this crossover detail, and it's got a tie belt. You can do it in a knee length, or you can put an extra sort of tier on the bottom to make it a maxi. This one is just a knee length dress. I'll pop a picture in of me wearing it, and as I say, just super easy to wear. A pattern I've made 2 or 3 times now, and there'll definitely be more versions of it in my wardrobe at some point. But as I say, today's video is all about fabric, and here we are. Here's the bundle of fabric that I've got. So in terms of where I've picked up these lovely fabrics from, a couple have come from 2 people's de-stash accounts, and then I've picked up some fabrics from a couple of online fabric shops as well. The first bit of fabric I'd like to show you is this gorgeous cotton jersey fabric. Now this came from the lovely Helen from Stitch Rip Repeats de-stash that she did a few weeks ago now, and it's just gorgeous, isn't it? Got these whales all over it, and I haven't got a particular project in mind, either something for my boys or maybe something for me, just be a little bit wacky, and I think this is gorgeous. I think I've got 1.5 meters of this fabric, and it's really wide, so possibly a matchy scenario. That might be quite cute with me and my youngest. I don't think my older son, who's 7, will be into matchy with me. Possibly he'd cope with it with his brother, but I don't think with his mum. I don't think that's very cool anymore. So yeah, thank you so much, Helen, for deciding you no longer wanted this bit of fabric, because I think it's beautiful. The next bit of fabric came from the lovely Crystal from my social thread, and the de-stash that she was doing on her de-stash account, and it is this gorgeous piece of fabric. This is a viscose fabric. It's in this gorgeous, quite bright tealy kind of colour, and has got sort of orangey red and white flowers on. I've got 4 meters of this viscose, I believe, and I am thinking of using this to make a dress for a wedding that I've got coming up. I spoke about this in my last Friday Sews video, the fact that I'd originally thought about using a duvet cover that I'd bought, but it remains as a duvet rather than being used as fabric, because I then bought this piece of fabric and I just thought it was gorgeous and think it would make a beautiful dress. Got, obviously being viscose, it's got gorgeous drape to it, and I think it would look lovely as the Eve dress. I haven't sewn the Eve dress before, but I've seen some beautiful versions on Instagram. I know it's a very popular pattern, and I think it will make a lovely Eve dress. If you have sewn up that pattern before and you've got any hints and tips about sewing up that pattern, I'd love it if you would get in touch and drop me a comment in the box below with anything that you think might be useful for me to know about. The next couple of fabrics that I bought were from Felicity Fabrics. Now, I've absolutely loved the look of their fabrics and their aesthetic for some time now, and I quite regularly go onto their website, but had never quite taken the plunge and bought any fabrics from them. I don't really know why, because as I say, I think their aesthetic is lovely. I love it when people do an unboxing from them, because the way they package their fabrics and their parcels is just gorgeous. It is really truly like getting a gift, and I'll pop some pictures in. So they always comes in a really lovely box that's got Felicity Fabrics in. It's wrapped in tissue paper. You get a lovely card. Yeah, it's just really like, it's just a beautiful shopping experience is the only way to describe it, really. So yes, it really is like having a treat. So a few weeks ago they were doing a remnant sale, and I can never resist a remnant sale. I think it's, yeah, that always draws me in. So I picked up 2 different pieces of fabric from them. The first was a piece of viscose fabric. It is a sort of, I don't know, do you call it a ditzy print when the flowers are quite small? They're not super small, but they're not by no means big. And on a black background, and then it's got little white flowers with purple bits and little pink bits, and sort of a aquary bluey green kind of colour. I think it's really pretty. Now, I've only got 1.2 meters of this fabric, so not a huge amount to play with, and I've laid out the pattern pieces for the sagebrush top on it, and I think I can just about get this out, other than the bias binding bit. There's no way I can get that out in one continuous one, and I don't think I can even get it in 2 bits, but maybe I can just kind of cut it in sections, and because it's a busy enough print we won't be able to see. Other than that, I guess I could just use a piece of just plain black fabric, or maybe pick out one of the colours from that, but I'm not sure about that particular idea. So I'm hoping I might be able to just squeeze a sagebrush top out of it. I know Liz from The Baker That Sews did a video a little while ago about how to get the sagebrush out of a metre of fabric, so I certainly will be having a look at that. But Liz is quite a lot smaller than I am, and obviously so her pattern pieces will be quite a lot smaller than mine. So yeah, maybe I will just about manage to squeeze it on. So I will definitely be rewatching her video to get some hints and tips on how to achieve that with this piece of fabric, because I think it'll be gorgeous in that. The next piece of fabric that I bought was a piece of linen fabric, and it's in a sort of petrol blue colour, I would say this is. I haven't washed this yet, so it's still got sort of a certain amount of sort of stiffness to it, and I have got 1.5 meters of this, and absolutely no idea what I'm going to do with it. So yeah, a reasonable weight to it, although a certain amount of drape. So you can sort of see the texture there of the linen fabric. It feels like it's going to be quite a nice quality. I think all of Felicity Fabrics fabrics are a nice quality. I think that's one of the things they're kind of known for. So yeah, as I say, it's got a certain amount of stiffness to it, but as I say, I haven't washed it as yet, so I think that will soften up, and I think linen does tend to kind of soften up the more you kind of wash it. So let me know, ideas wise, what you would make out of that, because I don't really have a clue. Normally when I buy fabric, I've normally got kind of a gut instinct of what I'm going to make with it. Not every time, I have to admit. I do, you know, buy fabric just because I like the look of it, but I try to be reasonably mindful of what I'm buying and what I'm making for. But this just caught my eye. It was such a reasonable price, and I couldn't resist it, couldn't leave it where it was. So yeah, any ideas, I'd be really grateful. Thank you. The next 3 fabrics came from Pound Fabrics. I have bought from them a few times now, and I've always been really super pleased with what I've bought. And in more recent times they started doing some ribbing fabric and sweatshirting that all sort of coordinate. And I've bought their ribbing fabric before, but I haven't bought the sweatshirting. The ribbing was always such nice quality. I thought, right, I'll buy some sweatshirting as well. So I've just bought some royal blue sweatshirting fabric and some ribbing. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail about what I've got planned for this. This is for a collaboration project that I'm working on, and so you'll see this sewn up hopefully towards the end of the month into sort of mid-July. That video should be coming out, so I'll talk more in detail about those at that point. And then the last fabric that I've got to show you again is from Pound Fabrics, and it's a chambray fabric. I haven't ever worked with chambray before. Obviously it's a cotton fabric, and it's got, you know, it's got some body, but it's still got a decent amount of drape to it. So I've got 3 meters of this fabric. It's not hugely wide, but it's not mega narrow either. And I'm thinking of the Lyra dress from Tilly and the Buttons, or another make that I had on my plans video for May, which I'm not sure I'm going to get round to doing, quite frankly, is the Megan Nielsen Brumby skirt. That's also on my Make 9 plans, and again I haven't made it as yet. But I've got 3 meters of this fabric, and I'm presuming, although I don't know for certain, that the Brumby skirt would not take anywhere near 3 meters of fabric. So I don't want to be left with kind of an unusable amount. So I will have a look at the 2 different items, the Lyra and the Brumby, and see which one I think is best. But if you've got any thoughts or feelings on that, please do, sorry I stopped fiddling around with this piece of fabric, please do let me know in the comments below. That would be absolutely fantastic. So that's all of the things that I've been buying. Not a massive haul, but by no means tiny. So if there is any of those pieces of fabric that you've got, or any of the patterns that I've spoken about that you've sewn up before, as I say, that you've got any hints or tips about, I would be really grateful if you could drop me a comment below. If you have enjoyed today's video, I'd love it if you'd give me a like. If you haven't subscribed, please do consider doing so. And until next time, take care. Happy sewing. Bye bye.